So obviously, we've discussed quite a bit about how Basel proposal adopts legally binding capital requirements originating from organization that exhibits in my estimation, is no real legal authority. So I've been particularly concerned with the proposals disincentivizing banks from offering borrowers conventional loans for first-time home buyers and low to moderate income borrowers. This is an issue I think if you're a member of Congress, you're going to hear about continually when you're back in the district. And I think the lack of options will make buying a home even more unattainable than it already is today, certainly for Wisconsinites right now. Another major issue is the proposal's operational risk component, requiring banks to hold capital against fee and commission income as a proxy for operational risk. So under the proposal, Wisconsin manufacturer trying to ship products internationally would need to pay more to get a bank letter of credit in order to facilitate those shipments, ultimately leading to higher costs or reduced availability for its products. In a kind of a similar fashion, foreign direct investment in Wisconsin could be negatively impacted due to the increased capital, the burden associated with that capital on foreign banks, helping facilitate investment in Wisconsin. These issues, I think, kind of highlight the lack of analysis on how the proposal could affect users. So, Mr. Gibson, Vice Chair Barr has promised more analysis on the final rule, but why not do this analysis up front to increase the likelihood of kind of a better final product, I guess you could say?
So the notice of proposed rulemaking last year had an analysis of the impact, and we're doing more work during the comment period, and we got comments about the impact. We also did a special data collection during the comment period to be able to assess the impact. So we're going to take all that into account going forward.
So you're comfortable with the amount of information that's available to make that decision, those series of decisions, I guess, at this point?
Well, I mean, we're doing more work during the comment period with the information from the comments as well as from the special data collection. So we will be providing more information in the future. Yes.
Okay. Members of the military are routinely subject to deployments and kind of permanent changes of station, and therefore more likely to have kind of longer periods of time when they don't use open credit lines, I guess is the best way to describe it. In fact, active duty and reserve military members are 30% more likely than the general public within a 2-year period to make a purchase using a credit card that hasn't had any activity in the last 12 months. Under Basel III Endgame proposal, off-balance sheet items like unused credit card lines would be subject to an increased credit conversion factor applied to that undrawn funds, reflecting the expected amount that could become an on-balance sheet exposure, I guess, at some point. So due to the proposed conversion factor, banks could be incentivized to reduce or close unused or dormant credit lines to reduce their capital requirements. So let me just ask you, along those lines, have the agencies adequately contemplated the unique effect that the proposed conversion factor would have specifically on service members and in the military community and their overall credit score? Mr. Gibson, I don't know if you have a comment on that.
Well, just to say that we have received those comments through the public comment process, so we are going to be carefully evaluating those and looking at them. Yes.
And then the final, before I run out of time, capital proposal from the Fed and other financial regulators would impose huge costs on the regional and mid-sized banks with little to no trading books to adopt the governance and data processes related to the new market risk rule. This proposal, on top of the other recent regulatory proposals, is bound to lead to, I'm sure, some type of consolidation to overcome the compliance burden on the rulemaking. Do you believe allowing more banks to grow through acquisitions so that they are able to compete with the existing large banks would benefit the current ecosystem? And are you guys worried about, kind of damaging the breadth of the banking system, which obviously is kind of a national asset, by promoting more concentration and fewer regional banks who serve communities directly?
So I would say we benefit from having a banking system with a diversity of institutions, including large regional community banks.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I yield back.